Welcome to this quiet space where the world outside gently fades and your mind can settle into a soft calm. Let your eyes drift closed now, easily and without effort, as your body finds its most comfortable resting place. Feel the support beneath you, the gentle give of your bed, and let yourself sink just a little deeper. Take a long, slow breath in, filling your lungs with peace, and then let it out even more slowly, releasing any small tightness you might hold. Allow yourself to feel the same sense of profound calm that washes over Eldoria. As you listen, let your own breath become a slow, steady rhythm, guiding you deeper and deeper into a state of quiet rest. It lay not on the bustling coasts where trade ships docked, or in the wide open plains where armies might clash. Eldoria was tucked away deep within the heart of a vast ancient land, protected on all sides by towering mountain ranges. These were not mere woods. They were living cathedrals of colossal trees, some so old their roots were said to reach into the very core of the earth. There were the moon petal blossoms, which only unfurled their luminous white petals under the glow of the full moon, releasing a sweet, heady perfume into the night air. There were the silver-winged birds, whose feathers caught the sunlight and reflected it in a dazzling flash as they soared through the sky, their calls like clear melodic bells. The moss deer, small and shy, had coats that blended perfectly with the forest undergrowth, allowing them to move through the woods like silent shadows. And then there were the lumina fireflies, their synchronized blinking creating breathtaking patterns of light, like tiny earthbound constellations. All creatures moved with a quiet grace, contributing to the profound sense of peace that saturated every part of Eldoria. Sunlight vines, slender and delicate, would coil around ancient tree trunks, their leaves absorbing the sun's energy to glow with a faint, internal light, creating natural pathways through the deeper parts of the woods. The whispergrass, a type of tall, slender reed, grew along the riverbanks, and when the wind passed through it, it would produce a sound like soft, distant, murmuring voices, giving the whispering woods their name. Even the earth itself felt different here, soft and yielding, yet deeply firm beneath one's feet, as if the land was constantly breathing with slow, steady breaths. The trees stood impossibly tall, their branches interlacing far above, forming a dense, leafy canopy that filtered the sunlight into dappled patterns on the forest floor. The air beneath this canopy was always cool and fresh, carrying the rich, earthy scent of damp soil, decaying leaves, and the sharp, clean fragrance of ancient pine and cypress. In some parts, the forest was so thick that only narrow, winding paths, barely more than deer trails, allowed passage. In others, the trees thinned slightly, opening into sun-dappled glades where moss grew thick and soft like a luxurious carpet, inviting quiet rest. These peaks, jagged and grand, were often cloaked in thick, soft mists that clung to their slopes like silent guardians. The mists were not chilling or foreboding. Instead, they gave the mountains an ethereal, dreamlike quality, making Eldoria feel even more separate from the quickening pace of the world beyond. From the highest craggy summits, the mountains sloped down into deep, lush valleys, where the very air seemed to hum with an old, quiet energy. You are ready to journey into a story that whispers of wonders beyond what is known, a journey into the heart of dreams. Find a rhythm that feels just right, natural and unhurried, like the quiet turning of a leaf in a soft breeze. In your mind's eye, imagine a place hidden away from the hurried world, a kingdom known as Eldoria. It lies cradled within the ancient embrace of mist-shrouded peaks, where the rivers run clear as crystal and the forests whisper secrets as old as time itself. These rivers wound their way through the valleys, carving gentle paths, their waters so clean that one could see every polished stone, every darting fish on their beds. The rivers fed into placid lakes, their surfaces often reflecting the sky above like vast, still mirrors, sometimes showing the deep blue of a clear day, sometimes the soft, swirling gray of cloud cover. Around these lakes, the land stretched into verdant, emerald green fields, where wildflowers bloomed in a riot of color during the warmer months. Her truest joy, her deepest comfort, she finds not in the polished halls of her family's palace, nor in the grand ceremonies that sometimes call her name. Instead, Ariadne finds her solace and her profound happiness in the quiet embrace of nature. It is in the rustle of leaves, the murmur of water, and it is through the artistry of her hands, the weaving of thread into stories, that she truly connects with the world around her. There is a subtle magic that weaves through Eldoria, too subtle for the hurried eye, but perfectly clear to a heart like Ariadne's. It is a magic that breathes in the silent growth of a forest, that gleams in the undisturbed waters of a spring, a quiet power waiting to be acknowledged. Here, time moves differently, flowing like the gentle currents of the deepest streams, slowing down to a pace where every moment can be savored, every sound heard, every feeling understood. The air in Eldoria always holds a faint, sweet scent of damp earth and growing things, a breath of nature's own quiet song. It is a place untouched by the rush and clamor, a pocket of true peace. Our story belongs to Princess Ariadne of Eldoria. Picture so let your imagination drift to this land. Picture the soft light, feel the gentle air, hear the faint whispers of the ancient trees, the whispering woods, and the weaver princess. The kingdom of Eldoria was a place of profound and enduring serenity. Clear rivers, born from the melting snows of the highest peaks, flowed with a pure, crystalline blue. But it was the ancient forests that truly defined Eldoria. The unique flora of Eldoria was a wonder to behold. The fauna was equally enchanting, living in peaceful harmony with the environment. There was no rush, no hurried deadlines, no constant clamor for more. The days unfolded gently, guided by the sun's arc and the moon's silent journey across the night sky. The people lived simply, cherishing their connection to the land. She found joy in the simple, profound beauty of a single dewdrop clinging to a spider's web, in the intricate branching of a winter tree against a pale sky. Her personal loom, tucked away in a sunlit room in a quieter wing of the palace, was her true throne, a place where she exercised her deepest power. They were spun by the Eldorian weavers from the finest natural fibers, the softest sheep's wool from the mountain pastures, the delicate filaments of the rare moon petal plant, and the strong, supple strands from the inner bark of the ancient elderwood trees. Her fingers, nimble and precise, moved with an intuitive grace. She slipped away easily, unnoticed by the few remaining palace staff, who were beginning their own quiet preparations for the evening. Every step was deliberate, yet flowing, as if she were part of the forest's own gentle rhythm. She passed by a small, gurgling stream, its water clear and cold, where tiny moss deer sometimes came to drink. The sound of its gentle flow added another layer to the forest's quiet symphony. Ariadne felt a familiar sense of profound calm settle over her as she approached. This place held a special significance for her. It was where she felt most herself, most connected to the deepest, quietest pulse of Eldoria. The air here felt cooler, imbued with the freshness of the spring water. The simple act of breathing became her focus, each inhale a drawing in of peace, each exhale a release of any lingering tension. She felt her muscles relax, from the tips of her toes to the crown of her head. Her jaw softened, her shoulders dropped, her limbs grew heavy and warm. The moss beneath her was soft and cool. They were not harsh or sudden, but soft, like colors bleeding into water, slowly taking shape. Ariadne found herself not lying on the moss, but sitting upright. Before her was her loom, yet it was not the same loom she knew from her palace room. This loom was grander, taller, made of shimmering, clear crystal that caught and held light from an unseen source. Its threads were not wool or linen, but streams of pure, soft light. These light threads glowed with gentle colors, soft blues like deep ocean water, pale golds like morning sun, deep purples like twilight shadows, and greens like the first spring leaves. They flowed from giant spools above the loom, endless and bright. All the sounds of the forest, the distant hoot of an owl, the quiet chirping of crickets, the constant murmur of the spring, slowly faded. They did not vanish completely, but they became part of a larger, softer quietness, a background hum to her own peace. She felt herself sinking effortlessly into the deepest parts of sleep. There was no effort in it, no struggle, just a calm surrender to the sweet pull of rest. Her body felt heavy, wonderfully heavy, completely relaxed from her toes to the top of her head. Every muscle, every part of her, let go. She was simply there, a quiet presence in the heart of the ancient woods, held safe and warm by the earth itself. The darkness around her was not empty, but full of a soft, comforting quiet. She drifted without thought, without worry, into a profound and dreamless sleep, a space of pure stillness. The feeling of the earth beneath her was one of deep, unwavering support, cradling her as a mother cradles a child. She was part of the forest, no different from the silent trees or the flowing spring. All the small worries of the day, all the thoughts of her duties, gently receded, becoming faint echoes in the vast, quiet space of her mind. The scent of damp earth and the sweet, resinous aroma of cypress trees was stronger. The gentle hum of insects, the rustle of a small creature in the undergrowth, the persistent murmur of the spring. These sounds wove together into a symphony of natural tranquility, lulling her deeper into a state of profound rest. She felt a profound contentment, a quiet happiness that swelled in her chest, settling her completely. With a final, slow, contented breath, Ariadne allowed herself to sink fully into the soft embrace of the earth, drifting effortlessly into a deep, dreamless sleep, wrapped in the silent, protective presence of the whispering woods. The last thought that lingered in her mind was a simple, profound truth. There was truly nowhere else in the world she would rather be. She was home. She moved to her favorite spot, a patch of thick, velvety moss nestled between the ancient roots of a colossal elderwood tree. Further on, the trees grew even denser, and the light became softer, a deep emerald twilight beginning to settle even though the sun was still high. The moss was cool and soft beneath her, yielding slightly to the weight of her body, yet providing firm support. The chirping of crickets began, a steady, hypnotic rhythm. The soft hoot of a distant owl echoed, a lonely but comforting call. Ariadne felt utterly safe and protected in this ancient sanctuary. The towering trees stood like silent sentinels, their deep roots anchoring her to the earth. The cool, fresh air caressed her skin, a gentle blessing. There was no need for a blanket here. The warmth of the day still lingered in the earth, and the thick moss provided ample insulation. Her simple linen clothes felt soft and light against her skin. She lay on her back, gazing up at the canopy of cypress trees above, their dark, slender forms reaching towards the sky. Dappled light that softened the edges of the world around her. The gentle murmur of the spring was a constant, soothing lullaby, a natural sound that required no interpretation, no thought, only quiet acceptance. It was a sound that seemed to slow her own internal rhythms, bringing her breath and heartbeat into perfect harmony with the pulse of the earth. Ariadne listened, sometimes imagining she could decipher meaning in the soft whispers, a comforting, familiar sound that felt like home. She heard the faint rustle of leaves high above, a sound like a distant, hushed conversation. The occasional chirping of a silver-winged bird echoed through the trees, clear and bell-like. She would often pause, reaching out to touch the rough bark of a particularly old tree, feeling the deep, slow pulse of its life force against her palm. Her attire was simple, a soft, flowing tunic of undyed linen and trousers that allowed her full freedom of movement. Her hair, long and dark, was braided simply down her back. It wasn't a grand waterfall or a sprawling lake, but a small, secluded pool fed by a pure underground spring. It was nestled in a small hollow, surrounded by particularly old moss-covered stones and encircled by a ring of ancient, towering cypress trees. Their dark, fragrant needles created a sheltered, private sanctuary. The water of the spring was extraordinarily clear, reflecting the sky and the surrounding trees with perfect fidelity. It bubbled gently from the earth, producing a low, continuous murmur that was exquisitely soothing. No crown, no jewels, only the natural elegance of her form. She would often start with a vague idea, a feeling, or a specific image from her walks. It began just beyond the palace gardens, a narrow track that quickly disappeared into the dense undergrowth of the whispering woods. As she stepped under the overarching canopy of the trees, a profound sense of peace washed over her, like shedding a heavy cloak. The air immediately grew cooler, fresher, carrying the rich, damp scent of ancient soil and decaying leaves. The sunlight, once bright and direct, was now broken into 1,000 shimmering shards that danced on the forest floor, painting ever-shifting patterns of light and shadow, and then allow the threads to guide her, letting the design unfurl organically. Sometimes a difficult decision on a particular shade would lead her to pause, close her eyes, and recall the exact light of a certain afternoon, the precise color of a particular leaf. The act of weaving was slow, requiring immense patience and unwavering focus. But for Ariadne, this slowness was a gift. It allowed her mind to settle, to wander through her memories and dreams, finding new connections and insights with every pass of the shuttle. Each completed tapestry was a testament not only to her skill, but to her profound understanding of Eldoria, a tangible piece of her soul spun into being. She devoted hours, days, sometimes weeks to a single large piece, her dedication unwavering, finding deep satisfaction in the meticulous work and the slow, beautiful unfolding of her artistic vision. Each thread was then dyed using pigments extracted from the earth and the plants of Eldoria. The deep greens came from the leaves of the everwood fern, the rich blues from crushed river stones, the vibrant reds from the berries of the sunblush bush, and the soft golds from the pollen of the sky bloom flower. Ariadne herself was skilled in this ancient art of dyeing, understanding the precise timing and mixture needed to coax the most vibrant yet natural hues from her materials. She knew the story of each color, the season it was gathered, the plant or mineral it came from, infusing her work with a deeper connection to the land. The loom itself was a thing of beauty, crafted from the smooth, rich wood of ancient Eldorian oaks, polished by generations of hands. Each thread, as it was carefully chosen and then pulled through the loom, held a part of her thoughts, a sliver of her observations, a whisper of a dream. Her tapestries were not merely decorative, they were living narratives. One large tapestry might depict the mist-shrouded peaks, the shifting grays and whites of the mist meticulously rendered through layers of fine wool, giving the impression of actual movement when viewed from different angles. Another might capture the exact luminous quality of the lumina fireflies dancing in a twilight glade, using moon petal threads that subtly shimmered in low light. She had even begun work on a series inspired by the celestial deer she had once glimpsed in a heartbreaking dream, attempting to capture the ethereal glow of their forms using threads imbued with the softest starlight she could imagine, a challenge that fascinated her immensely. It was sturdy and well-worn, its frame bearing the faint marks of countless threads passing through its mechanisms. The shuttle, weighted and smooth, felt like an extension of her own hand. The petals beneath her feet responded to the slightest pressure, allowing her to control the intricate dance of the warp and weft threads. The rhythmic click-clack of the shuttle moving through the warp, the soft thump of the beater pressing the weft into place, and the gentle hum of the taut threads combined into a soothing, meditative sound, a constant melody that resonated with the quiet rhythm of her own heart, in the silent, persistent growth of a tiny fern unfurling from the earth. The forest was her sanctuary, her teacher, her confidant. There she could shed the quiet constraints of her royal role and simply be. She would spend hours watching the intricate dance of insects, listening to the layered symphony of bird calls, or simply sitting in silent communion with an ancient tree, feeling its deep, slow pulse beneath her hands. This connection to nature was not a hobby for Ariadne. It was the very breath of her being, the wellspring of her strength and her inner peace. It was where her thoughts truly unfurled, where she could process the complexities of her duties and find clarity amidst the quiet grandeur of the natural world. Farmers tilled their fields by hand, singing old songs as they worked. Artisans crafted their goods with patience and care, each piece a reflection of the beauty around them. This timeless rhythm was woven into the very fabric of Eldorian existence, creating a profound sense of continuity and peace that felt almost sacred. Princess Ariadne, though born to the royal line, was a living embodiment of Eldoria's gentle spirit. Her given name was one of grace and ancient resonance, but her true essence lay in her quiet nature, her deep inner world. There were state dinners, though infrequent, which required her presence. There were diplomatic letters to review, royal decrees to sign, and occasional audiences with visitors from distant, busier lands. She performed these duties with an innate grace, a quiet dignity that earned her the respect of her people and foreign envoys alike. Yet, her mind often wandered during these times, while a courtier droned on about trade routes or a delegate presented a formal petition. Ariadne might be mentally tracing the patterns of sunlight on the palace courtyard, or imagining the scent of the nearby pine forest after a gentle rain. The palace, with its polished stone floors and grand, echoing halls, often felt too contained, too loud in its quietness. She appreciated the beauty of its architecture, the skill of the artisans who built it, but it never resonated with her spirit in the way the open sky or a secluded glade did, and her profound wisdom that shone not through grand pronouncements, but through her gentle understanding of the world. She was not a princess who reveled in finery or delighted in the pomp of courtly life. While she wore the simple, elegant gowns befitting her station when duty called, her heart yearned for the soft touch of moss underfoot, the cool kiss of forest air on her skin, and the quiet company of trees. Her movements were always graceful, unhurried, as if she were moving through water. Her hands, though capable of the most intricate weaving, were also strong from long walks and the gentle handling of natural materials. Her eyes, the color of deep forest pools, held a quiet, thoughtful gaze, often reflecting the subtle shifting of light and shadow, as if she saw the world not just with her sight, but with her soul. Her daily life in the palace was a contrast of obligations and desires. Her true passion lay outside those stone walls. Ariadne sought solitude not out of shyness, but out of a profound need to connect with the living world around her. Beyond her deep connection to the living world, Ariadne possessed a rare and sacred craft. Weaving, the threads she used were unlike any found in ordinary markets. Her weaving was more than just the creation of fabric. It was a profound meditative practice, a way she translated her inner world and the subtle energies of Eldoria into tangible art. When Ariadne wove, she lost herself in the rhythm, in the dance of color and texture. On this particular late afternoon, Ariadne felt the familiar pull of the whispering woods. The path she chose was a familiar one, worn smooth by her own countless footsteps. She walked with a quiet awareness, her bare feet pressing lightly into the mossy earth, feeling the cool, soft texture beneath her soles. The path wound deeper into the woods, following the gentle slope of the land. Her anticipation grew as she approached her destination, the hidden spring. Finally, the trees parted slightly, revealing the soft, almost mystical glow of the hidden spring. She settled herself down with a sigh of pure contentment. She closed her eyes, letting her awareness drift away from her body and out into the quiet evening. A deep sense of gratitude filled her. Gratitude for the beauty of Eldoria, for the profound peace she found in its wild heart, for the simple joy of feeling utterly connected to the living world. The first flicker of magic, Ariadne rested deeply by the hidden spring. The earth held her gently. As she reached out, her hands felt lighter, almost transparent. She touched a thread of shimmering blue light. It felt cool, like clear spring water, yet it left no dampness. A moment ago, a delicate flower of golden light bloomed on the surface. Now, with a subtle shift of her hand, it transformed into a gently flowing river of blue light, winding its way across the weaving. Her movements were effortless. She knew exactly which light thread to choose, how tightly to pull, how to guide the shuttle to create the desired effect. As she wove, the patterns she created would slowly shift and evolve on their own, subtly, gracefully, not abruptly, but slowly, like mist dissolving in morning sun. Ariadne found herself standing in an ethereal forest, a place unlike any she had known in Eldoria. Their bodies were not solid flesh, but appeared to be constellations themselves, shimmering patterns of light and shadow, constantly shifting. Tiny stars seemed to twinkle within their forms, moving with their breath. Their antlers were not bone, but intricate branches of light, reaching upwards like delicate luminous trees, their tips adorned with what looked like miniature nebulae, swirling clouds of cosmic dust and gas, glowing with soft, unearthly colors. The sharp edges of the starlight trees blurred, and the glowing forms of the deer became fainter, more like shimmering impressions. Yet, the profound sense of peace and ancient wisdom they had conveyed lingered, a soft, warm echo in her mind. It was a feeling of deep serenity that remained even as the dream receded, like the afterglow of a beautiful sunset. It didn't grow louder in a startling way, but rather deepened, becoming richer, more resonant. Instead, she entered a liminal state, a beautiful space between dreaming and waking. In this state, her mind felt wonderfully clear, yet still infused with the soft, ethereal qualities of her dreams. She was aware of her body resting on the moss, of the cool night air on her skin, but also of something new, something profound stirring around her. It was always soft, always inviting. It washed over her closed eyelids. She could feel its warmth on her skin, a soothing heat that permeated her limbs and body, chasing away any lingering coolness from the night air. Each pulse seemed to fill the forest glade with more of its soft, warm luminescence. The light seemed to whisper to her, inviting her to open her eyes, to witness what was waiting. It was like the gentle warmth of dawn on her face, but with a deeper, more profound purpose. Her eyelids felt light, lifting with an effortless grace. The soft, pulsing glow she had sensed in her dream state was no longer just a feeling or a warmth on her skin. It was real, visible light filling the glade around the hidden spring. It was a light that promised revelation, a light that spoke of magic and new beginnings. It was not the crisp light of dawn, nor the muted glow of twilight, nor the sharp beams of the moon. This light was ethereal, a pearlescent shimmer that seemed to come from everywhere at once, yet from no single source. It was soft and luminous, a mixture of silver and the palest gold, with faint hints of blue and violet swirling within it. This unearthly glow touched every leaf, every branch, every patch of moss, making them seem to glow from within. The dark trunks of the cypress trees appeared to radiate a soft inner light, their needles shimmering with delicate points of brilliance. The moss on the ground pulsed with a gentle, inviting sheen, like a living carpet woven with moonlight. Even the air itself seemed to shimmer, thick with this luminous dust, making the familiar glade feel sacred, a place of quiet miracles. She felt her mind slowly, calmly rising from the depths of sleep, drawn by the irresistible, beautiful pulse of this soft, ethereal glow. The light was like a painter, slowly revealing the familiar outlines of the forest around her, but painting them in hues she had never imagined, making the world seem new and full of quiet miracles. She knew with a certainty that transcended thought, that when she finally opened her eyes, she would see something truly wondrous. The light was a silent, patient guide, preparing her for the moment of awakening to something extraordinary. It was as if the very air itself was becoming luminous, infused with this gentle, otherworldly radiance. The sounds of the forest, which had faded into a background hum, now seemed to become clearer, but also more ethereal, as if they too were being transformed by the light. The murmur of the hidden spring, the distant cricket chirps, all seemed to vibrate with this new, subtle energy. It was a warmth that felt deeply comforting, as if she were wrapped in a soft, luminous blanket. The hum was like a gentle hand, softly pulling her awareness towards it, inviting her to notice. Instead, a sense of profound curiosity, a gentle wonder, bloomed within her. The light felt benign, a benevolent presence that was drawing her gently towards awareness. It felt like a whispered invitation, a soft promise of something beautiful. She knew, deep in that liminal space between sleep and waking, that this light was not a threat, but a gift, a sign that something extraordinary was unfolding. It felt like a subtle call, a quiet summons from the very heart of the forest. The vibration was not just around her, but seemed to be within her, too, resonating with a deeper part of her being, a part that recognized this unusual frequency. It was like being on the very edge of a new understanding, a new way of seeing and feeling the world. The hum filled her with a sense of anticipation, a quiet, curious waiting for what would come next. It was a soundless melody that seemed to be preparing her for something wonderful, something magical. It filled the space around her, not with sound, but with a palpable vibration. At first, it was just a faint glow, barely perceptible, like the faintest light of a distant star. It was not the harsh, bright light of the rising sun, nor the cold, direct beam of the moon. This light was different. It pulsed softly, a slow, rhythmic ebb and flow, like a living heart. The color was unlike anything Ariadne had seen before. A warm, pearlescent glow, tinged with soft, shifting hues of silver and palest gold. It seemed to emanate from a source nearby, somewhere just beyond her immediate view. She could feel it in the air, a gentle tremor that was both soft and powerful. It cast soft, dancing shadows from the ancient cypress trees, making their forms appear even more majestic and mysterious. The individual leaves and needles seemed to catch the light, glowing faintly as if imbued with their own inner luminescence. The moss on the ground shimmered with a delicate, otherworldly sheen. Everything it touched seemed to become softer, more gentle, bathed in this tender, pulsing glow. It seemed to vibrate through her skin, a subtle tingling sensation that was not uncomfortable, but rather a curious kind of awareness. This vibration was very gentle, very persistent. It was like a very soft pulse, growing stronger with each beat. The way they moved was incredibly graceful, a slow, floating walk that seemed to defy gravity. It was subtle at first, almost imperceptible, as if it were a sound just beyond her hearing, or a touch just beyond her skin. On the contrary, it was soothing, a soft, steady frequency that seemed to vibrate through the moss, into her body, and then slowly into her mind. It was like the gentle, consistent purr of a large, contented creature, or the deep, silent song of the earth itself. At first, it was so faint that Ariadne might have dismissed it as a lingering part of her dream, a phantom sensation. But it persisted. It remained a quiet, insistent presence. It wasn't the hum of an insect, or the distant murmur of the spring, or the soft rustle of leaves in the wind. Those forest sounds were still there, gently present in the background of her sleep, but this hum was different. It felt internal, as if it resonated from within her own body, or from just beyond the edge of her awareness. Here the trees were not made of wood and bark, but of pure starlight. There was no fear in them, only a calm, knowing gaze. They would pause to graze on patches of glowing moonlight moss, their forms shimmering as they bent their heads. Sometimes two of them would touch their luminous antlers together, and a cascade of tiny stars would rain down between them, dissolving into the moonlight ground with a soft, silent sparkle. The forest of starlight and moonlight was a place of impossible beauty, utterly serene. The air was cool and crisp, carrying a faint, sweet scent of distant stars. Every detail was sharp and clear, yet imbued with a dreamlike, ethereal quality. It was intensely real, yet deeply serene, a place where impossible beauty became tangible truth. Ariadne felt completely at ease here, completely absorbed by the silent, majestic presence of these celestial beings. She felt a deep connection to them, as if they were guiding her through this cosmic landscape, revealing hidden wonders. As one of these celestial deer passed close to her, its starlit form cast no shadow, only a gentle, cool luminescence that brushed against her dream skin. She felt no fear, only a profound sense of peace and recognition, as if she had always known of their existence, as if they were a part of her own oldest memories. Their trunks glowed with a faint internal luminescence, and their branches, instead of leaves, bore tiny, sparkling constellations that seemed to drift and shift with a silent breeze. The ground beneath her feet was not earth or moss, but a soft, deep carpet of moonlight. It was cool and yielding, with a gentle glow that seemed to emanate from within itself. No sound disturbed the profound stillness of this forest, save for the faintest, softest hum that seemed to come from the very air itself. The bright threads softened, the intricate patterns blurred, and the crystal loom became indistinct. The feeling of satisfaction lingered, a warm, bright afterglow in her mind, even as the details of the dream receded. A spiral of golden light might slowly unwind, transforming into a flowing river of silver light. A cluster of starlight points might drift across the surface, reforming into a delicate, luminous bird. This continuous movement was enchanting, adding a living quality to her work. She felt a deep, profound satisfaction in this dream. It was more than just a dream of weaving. It was a dream of pure creation, of effortless beauty, of being able to bring into existence anything her imagination conceived simply by guiding these threads of pure light. The feeling was so vivid, so real, that she felt every shimmering thread, every soft pulse of light. It was a perfect state of being, where her deepest desire to create was fully realized, unhindered by any physical limitation. She felt herself smiling, a slow, gentle smile of utter contentment, as she continued to weave her masterpiece of light. The light from the tapestry warmed her dream skin, a soft, soothing heat that was both gentle and immensely comforting. The more she wove, the more complete she felt, as if each luminous thread connected her more deeply to some fundamental truth about creation and beauty. She wove until the feeling of pure joy filled every part of her dream being, a joy so deep it felt like a silent song. It was as if the loom, the light, and her hands were all one, working in perfect harmony. She saw a deep blue thread flow across the frame. Then she guided a shimmering silver one over it, then a soft rose-pink one under. As they intertwined, a new color seemed to bloom where they met, a soft ethereal violet that pulsed and faded. She could create images of ancient trees with roots of deep green light, and branches reaching up into a sky of soft, swirling indigo light. She could weave tiny lumina fireflies, each a single point of bright, golden light, suspended in a dark, forest-like background. The patterns were intricate beyond anything she could create with physical thread. They were like complex constellations, like swirling nebulae, like the delicate veins of a leaf seen under a magnifying glass, all made of light. Each weave was perfectly smooth, perfectly bright. There were no knots, no mistakes, no tangles in these luminous threads. The entire tapestry shimmered with an inner radiance, pulsing softly as if it breathed. It pulsed with a soft, steady glow. When she pulled it, it stretched endlessly, never breaking, never tangling. These were threads of pure illumination, of gentle energy. Her shuttle, too, was made of light, a graceful, silent thing that moved at her command. She began to weave. The process was familiar, yet utterly new. Instead of pushing physical threads through other threads, she was guiding streams of light, causing them to intertwine, to braid, to crisscross. As each thread of light wove over and under, it left behind a faint, glowing trail. The tapestry that grew on this light loom was breathtaking. It was not made of solid fabric, but of living, shifting light. As she wove, patterns formed and reformed. Ariadne felt no frustration, no difficulty, only a profound sense of ease and joy. The tapestry continued to grow, expanding outwards endlessly. It was not limited by a frame or a wall. Then the images of the luminous loom began to gently fade. A new scene slowly emerged, painted with soft, muted colors, like a world seen through a veil of dawn. Through this cosmic glade, majestic deer moved silently. They were unlike any deer she had ever seen. Ariadne watched them with deep reverence. Their eyes, large and dark, held an incredible depth, an ancient wisdom that seemed to stretch back to the very beginning of time. She watched them for what felt like a long time, her heart filled with a silent wonder. As the second dream of the celestial deer began to gently soften, the images of the starlight forest and the luminous creatures slowly became less distinct. Then, a new sensation began to emerge. The hum was not jarring or unpleasant. Slowly, almost imperceptibly, the hum began to intensify. As the hum deepened, it began to draw her consciousness away from the last vestiges of sleep. She was not fully awake, not yet. As the gentle hum deepened, a new element began to emerge, slowly, gracefully. It was a soft, ethereal light. Instead, it subtly illuminated the space around her. As the hum continued its slow increase, the light intensified in harmony. It grew steadily brighter, yet never became harsh or glaring. This was clearly not the natural light of Eldoria. It was something mystical, something magical. Yet Ariadne felt no fear, no alarm. The pulsing glow became more distinct, its rhythm slow and steady, like a quiet heartbeat. The guardian of the cosmic loom, Ariadne slowly, peacefully opened her eyes. It was not a sudden awakening, not a jolt from sleep, but a gentle unfurling, like a petal opening to the sun. The forest looked utterly transformed. It was bathed in a light unlike anything she had ever witnessed in Eldoria. Despite the strangeness of this profound transformation, Ariadne felt no sense of fear, no alarm. Her body remained deeply relaxed, still heavy and warm from the enchanted sleep. Her mind was wonderfully clear, calm and open, as if it had been prepared for this very moment. He was not boisterous or imposing in a way that commanded fear. His hair, dark and flowing, seemed to be woven from the deepest, richest velvet of the night sky, studded with tiny, distant stars that glittered softly. He wore no elaborate garments, only a simple, flowing robe of what looked like solidified starlight, its fabric shimmering with all the colors of a distant galaxy. Its hull seemed to be fashioned from countless strands of pure light, spun into a translucent, glowing fabric. The light within the vessel was soft and warm, a gentle inner radiance that pulsed slowly, mirroring the hum and glow in the glade. But the majestic celestial deer from her dream, now seemingly real and standing calmly on the mossy ground, they exuded a sense of quiet power, a gentle strength that suggested they could move mountains, yet they waited with unhurried grace, completely calm, as if they had been waiting for this moment for eons. Their presence made the dream feel even more real, blurring the lines between what she imagined and what was now unfolding before her very eyes. They were not restless or impatient, simply present, a testament to the profound magic of this encounter. In that gaze, Ariadne saw an unconditional love, a love so pure and vast it felt like the very essence of the universe. It was not a chaotic rush, but a powerful, yet gentle, wave that swelled within her chest. She felt a connection that transcended words, a bond that reached far beyond the simple act of meeting. She knew, with an absolute and unequivocal certainty, that she was meant to go with him. There was no need for thought or debate. Her movements were not rushed or hurried, but slow and graceful, as if she were moving through warm, thick honey. She paused for a moment, her gaze sweeping over its exquisite form, admiring the intricate weaving of pure light that made up its structure. The light within it pulsed gently, inviting her closer. It was not solid wood or cold metal, not the firm earth she was used to, nor the rough texture of stone. Instead, the woven light beneath her foot felt incredibly soft, almost yielding, as if she were stepping onto a cloud made of the purest moonlight. Yet, it was firm enough to bear her weight, providing perfect support. It was a paradox of softness and strength, ethereal yet tangible. Each motion was deliberate, yet light, carrying a sense of profound purpose. It felt warm, a gentle, pervasive heat that spread through her feet, up her legs, and through her entire body. It was not a scorching heat, but a comforting warmth, like being bathed in soft, filtered sunlight. This warmth was deeply soothing, chasing away any lingering chill from the night, and replacing it with a profound sense of well-being. The sensation was buoyant, too. She felt incredibly light, as if she weighed almost nothing. The craft seemed to gently lift and settle with her, adjusting to her presence, a perfect cradle of luminous energy. It was as if the vessel itself breathed, its gentle pulses matching her own relaxed heartbeat. The light around her was a soft embrace, a tender caress against her skin, a gentle glow that wrapped around her, comforting and protecting. It was truly unlike any material or sensation she had ever experienced, a blend of softness, warmth, and ethereal support that promised profound comfort for the journey ahead. The very fabric of the vessel felt alive, responsive to her touch, humming softly beneath her. It was a sensation of pure magic, a dream made real. The glow from the celestial vessel and from Lyra himself seemed to guide her, illuminating her path, making every step feel sure and right. His touch was incredibly gentle, yet firm and reassuring. His hand, luminous and warm, enveloped hers. Her smaller, human hand felt perfectly at ease within his larger, starlit grasp. There was no pressure, only a soft, unwavering connection. As their hands met, a subtle surge of energy passed between them, a quiet spark that resonated deep within Ariadne's heart. It was a comforting affirmation of the bond they shared, a silent promise of companionship. He did not pull her, but simply guided her, with a subtle shift of his own weight, towards the gentle seats within the vessel. She moved towards the shimmering craft, drawn by an invisible thread of destiny. The ground beneath her feet, the ancient moss, felt cool and soft for a final time, a silent farewell from the earth that had cradled her. The decision was not made by her mind, but by her very essence, her deepest knowing. It felt right, profoundly right, like the turning of the seasons, or the flow of a river to the sea. It was her destiny, clear and true. She was ready to leave the quiet, cherished world of Eldoria, not with sadness, but with an eager, joyful anticipation. This was not an ending, but a glorious, luminous beginning. She was ready to step into the unknown, hand in hand with the guardian of the stars, ready for a journey that promised to be more wondrous than any dream. Her heart sang a silent song of acceptance, a melody of pure, quiet joy. Every part of her being said yes, a powerful, unwavering affirmation. The call was clear, the path illuminated, and Ariadne, the Weaver Princess, was ready to step onto the loom of the cosmos itself. It was an inexplicable recognition of a kindred spirit, a soul connection that ran deeper than any dream, stronger than any earthly tie. It was as if their spirits were made of the same light, spun from the same cosmic threads. She felt a profound resonance, an echo of herself in his presence, and a sense of completeness she had never known. This connection was not loud or dramatic, but deeply quiet and profoundly certain, a truth whispered from soul to soul. It was love, pure and unconditional, a feeling she had only ever known in the softest whispers of her dreams, now fully alive and real. It was a love that felt ancient and new all at once, as if it had always existed, waiting for this moment to bloom. With that love came an instant, absolute trust. There was no room for doubt, no sliver of hesitation. Her heart knew, with an unwavering certainty, that Lyra was good, that he was kind, that he was true. This trust settled deep within her, calming any lingering echoes of earthly concerns. It was a love that asked nothing in return, only her presence. And within that love, she also saw a deep recognition. It was as if he had known her forever, as if their paths were destined to cross at this precise moment in time, in this quiet glade. He recognized not just the princess, not just the weaver, but the deepest, most authentic part of her soul. The part that yearned for connection and beauty beyond the known world. This recognition was profoundly comforting, like finally being seen, truly seen for who she truly was. It was a recognition that transcended time, a knowing that stretched back to ancient beginnings and forward into an infinite future. The silent invitation was an affirmation of her deepest longings. They seemed to belong to this new, glowing world, just as Lyra did, and a deep sense of rightness settled over Ariadne, knowing they were meant to be here. There were two of them, one on each side of the vessel's prow, their forms glowing with the same soft, constant luminescence as Lyra and the vessel itself. His movement was slow, fluid, and utterly graceful, like the gentle flow of a starlit river. There was no abruptness, no suddenness, only a continuous, seamless motion. He extended one hand towards Ariadne. His hand, like his form, seemed to be woven from pure light, yet it appeared solid enough, warm with an inner glow. His fingers were long and elegant, perfectly formed, shimmering faintly. The gesture was simple, yet profoundly eloquent. Their bodies were still made of shimmering constellations, tiny stars twinkling within their hides. No greeting, no explanation, no question. The glade remained silent, save for the soft hum that filled the air and the gentle murmur of the hidden spring. Yet, a clear and profound invitation passed between them. It was not a message carried on the air, but an understanding that settled directly into Ariadne's heart and mind. It was a silent communication, deeper and more complete than any spoken language. She understood with an absolute certainty that resonated through every fiber of her being that he was inviting her to come with him. Their antlers, like delicate branching structures of light, reached upwards, adorned with miniature, swirling nebulae that pulsed with soft colors. They were tethered to the vessel, not by earthly reins, but by slender mooring, shimmering bands of pure light that seemed to connect directly to the vessel's radiant core. The light shifted subtly in color, from a deep, tranquil blue, like the heart of a galaxy, to a soft, inviting silver, like freshly fallen moonlight. It breathed with a silent, living energy, a constant ebb and flow of pure luminescence. The craft had a low, sweeping shape, like a crescent moon, with a gracefully arching prow that seemed to reach towards the unseen heavens. There were no obvious seams or joints, no rough edges. It was all smooth, flowing curves of radiant energy. Instead, he radiated a serene power, a luminous grace that was both deeply comforting and immensely strong. The light inside was even softer, a gentle embrace that seemed to invite profound rest. The floor of the vessel, also woven from light, was incredibly soft beneath her eyes, seeming to yield slightly, as if it were a cloud or a dream made tangible. They were like ancient constellations, vast and deep, holding within them the wisdom of countless ages. Not just one constellation, but a swirling tapestry of stars, some brilliant, some faint, all arranged in patterns that spoke of immeasurable knowledge. There was no judgment in his gaze. He emanated a profound sense of peace, a quiet, deep calm that flowed from him like a gentle river, washing over Ariadne and settling her heart even further. She felt utterly safe in his presence, completely understood, as if he knew her better than she knew herself, a knowing that brought a deep sense of belonging. His stillness was not rigid, but vibrant, filled with an immense quiet power that resonated with the stillness of the ancient forest itself. He was like the silent, watchful spirit of the cosmos come to Eldoria. His form was truly breathtaking, appearing to be woven from the very fabric of the cosmos. It was unlike any earthly craft Ariadne had ever seen, yet it held a graceful beauty that immediately drew her eye. It was not a chariot, the wheeled vehicle of earthly kings and ancient gods, nor a boat meant for the rivers or lakes of Eldoria. This was a boat-like craft, sleek and elegant, perfectly proportioned, but it seemed to be entirely woven from threads of pure, shimmering light. His body seemed to shimmer, not with a solid gleam, but with an internal radiance, as if he were made of countless tiny, interconnected points of light. It was as though vast nebulae, swirling clouds of gas and dust where stars are born, had been gathered and subtly shaped into his form, deep purples and shimmering silvers within his very being. His limbs seemed to flow, not fixed and rigid, but fluid, like slow-moving currents of starlight. When he breathed, the light within him would subtly pulse, a soft, steady rhythm that resonated with the hum in the air. It felt not like a surprise, but like a deep recognition, a natural unfolding of something she had always known, somewhere in the quiet corners of her soul. It was as if this moment had been waiting for her, patiently, for a very long time, and now, finally, she was ready to meet it. The soft hum she had felt before was still present, now deeper, more resonant, a gentle vibration that filled the glade, and seemed to resonate within her own chest, settling her even further into a state of profound peace. She felt a quiet certainty that everything was exactly as it should be, that she was precisely where she was meant to be, witnessing what she was meant to see. There was no need for questions, only a calm acceptance of the wondrous reality before her. The world, her world, felt newly painted, infused with a soft, quiet magic that hummed in the air. As Ariadne's eyes fully adjusted to the pearlescent glow, her gaze settled on a majestic figure standing near the hidden spring. He stood utterly still, a presence of profound serenity, radiating a gentle power that did not overwhelm, but rather invited. This was Lyra, the guardian of the Cosmic Loom, or, as some ancient whispers named him, the weaver of starlight. His name echoed with the music of the spheres, the quiet hum of creation itself. Lyra was not a giant or a towering, thunderous god like those spoken of in old legends. His skin, if it could be called skin, appeared to be made of polished moonlight, smooth and soft, giving off a faint, cool glow. But it was Lyra's eyes that truly held Ariadne spellbound. Behind Lyra, resting silently on the thick, verdant moss, was a truly magnificent vessel. The structure of the vessel was intricate and delicate, yet it held a powerful strength. And what pulled this celestial vessel was truly wondrous. Not horses, as she might expect of an earthly chariot. The celestial deer stood utterly still, their large, dark eyes filled with the same ancient wisdom and serene patience that Ariadne had seen in her dream. Lyra, the guardian of the Cosmic Loom, now moved. There were no words spoken between them. As Lyra's gaze met Ariadne's, an immediate overwhelming surge of emotion washed over her, and then there was an intense, profound feeling of belonging. It was as if a missing piece of her soul had finally found its true home. In that single perfect moment, standing in the glowing glade, under the watchful gaze of the weaver of starlight, Ariadne knew. With calm grace, Ariadne reached the side of the luminous vessel. Lyra, who had remained still beside the vessel, now moved with his characteristic fluid grace. He reached out his hand once more. Ariadne settled comfortably beside him. The seats within the craft were not hard or rigid. They were gently scooped depressions, formed from layers of soft, glowing mist, like cradles woven from purest light. Their movements were incredibly subtle, almost imperceptible, a gentle shifting of their weight. There was no snorting, no pawing of the ground, none of the restless energy of earthly animals. The mossy ground, which had been so near, became a small, glowing circle of light, then a tiny, shimmering point on the vast canvas of the forest. The whispering woods, once a dense, enclosing canopy, now spread out below like an immense, dark green quilt, stitched with faint, winding rivers of silver that gleamed in the soft, otherworldly light. From this soaring height, it was no longer a grand structure of polished stone. There was no sorrow in her heart, no longing to cling to what was being left behind. These were not the dark, heavy storm clouds, nor the fluffy white ones she sometimes saw from the highest peaks of Eldoria. They were not damp or cold, as clouds often are on Earth. Instead, they were soft, glowing masses, like vast ethereal landscapes made of pure light. The clouds seemed to breathe, expanding and contracting, allowing them to pass through their luminous hearts. It was like shedding the last whisper of a dream. The world above them exploded into a spectacle of breathtaking beauty. A vista so grand they were not just distant points, but seemed close enough to touch. Their stars sparkling with an intensity and clarity she had never imagined. Some constellations formed patterns she recognized from her earthly studies, now seen in breathtaking detail. Each star a brilliant jewel. Others were entirely new, forming elegant, shimmering designs that hinted at untold stories and unknown cosmic histories. Each star was a miniature sun, radiating its own unique light, contributing to the grand, luminous symphony of the astral sea. It was not a sudden, jarring change, but a gentle, quiet unfolding, like the slow opening of a rare, cosmic flower. Every star, every nebula, every swirling galaxy, every stream of light was a thread in this grand design. The colors were not static, but flowed and mingled, creating new hues in every cosmic current. She was not just observing the universe, she was beginning to understand its language, its silent, beautiful mathematics of creation. The luminous vessel glided effortlessly, pulled by the serene celestial deer, without a sound, without a jolt. Each moment revealed a new marvel, a new facet of the universe's infinite beauty, like turning the pages of an immense, living book. This was not the ordinary dust of Eldoria, but a shimmering, luminous powder that seemed to hold the echoes of eons past. It lay in vast, flat plains, extending infinitely in every direction, glowing with a soft, shifting rainbow of colors. As they passed over it, tiny particles would rise, catching the light and sparkling like countless minute jewels. This cosmic dust seemed to whisper of immense, forgotten histories, of stars that had lived and died, of galaxies that had long since changed their forms. There was a profound stillness here, a deep, ancient quiet that made the vastness feel even more immense and timeless. It was a place where time itself seemed to slow, a silent archive of the universe's profound memory. Her own craft of weaving, which she had thought of as a human skill, now seemed like a tiny reflection of this grand cosmic act. She too took individual threads and wove them into patterns, creating something beautiful from separate parts. Now she saw that the entire universe was doing the same, but on a scale so vast it was almost incomprehensible, yet utterly harmonious. The silent hum that surrounded them now seemed like the song of this cosmic loom, a deep, resonant vibration that echoed with the act of infinite creation, a constant, soothing melody that resonated through the fabric of existence itself. She felt a part of this immense, living, weaving, a single conscious thread in its endless design. The universe was not empty. It was full, alive and constantly being made, moment by moment, in a silent, cosmic dance. The patterns were not fixed, but constantly shifting, evolving with a slow, majestic grace that spoke of infinite time and boundless creation. She saw the intricate connections between all things, how the light from one distant nebula flowed into the light of another. Instead, it was a place of serene creation, like a cosmic garden where new stars were subtly forming. The nebula glowed with soft, iridescent colors, swirling eddies of gentle bloom, soft green and delicate pink, all blending into each other with an ethereal grace. Within this nebula, Ariadne could perceive faint, glowing knots, tiny points of light that were slowly, patiently gathering energy, subtly forming into new stars. They were like cosmic blossoms, slowly unfurling their first petals of light, taking eons to fully bloom. The air here was incredibly pure, infused with the faint, sweet scent of newly created light, a smell that was both ancient and utterly fresh. There was a gentle, almost imperceptible hum that emanated from the nebula, a soft, low thrumming that felt like the quiet pulse of life itself, endlessly renewing. How the invisible forces of gravity pulled distant galaxies into elegant dances, how the smallest particle of cosmic dust was somehow linked to the brightest star. The entire universe, stretching infinitely around them, was revealing itself to her, not as empty space filled with scattered lights, but as a grand, living tapestry. She saw how energy gathered in one place to form a new star, how it flowed out from dying stars to nourish new nebulae, a continuous cycle of creation and renewal. The fundamental patterns that governed existence became clear to her, like simple, elegant designs in a complex weaving. She saw the spirals of galaxies, the concentric rings of planetary orbits, the branching patterns of star clusters, all variations of basic, beautiful patterns, repeated and elaborated upon throughout the universe. It was as if the very laws of physics were threads holding the cosmic weaving together, giving it structure and form. She saw it, truly saw it, as a single, immense, continuously woven masterpiece, and so vibrant it caused Ariadne's breath to catch in her throat, not from shock, but from pure, overwhelming wonder. Rivers of pure starlight flowed in majestic currents, some slow and winding, others swift and glittering. Galaxies spun in slow, silent dances in the far distance, appearing as colossal, luminous pinwheels, their spiral arms reaching out like delicate ethereal tendrils. Planets, no longer mere dots, hung in the void like polished jewels, some glowing with soft internal lights, others reflecting the brilliant hues of their nearby stars. The cosmic energies pulsed and flowed, creating intricate, shifting patterns of light and shadow, color and form. It was as if a giant, unseen weaver was constantly at work, creating and recreating the universe. Before her very eyes, spinning new stars from nebulae, guiding the paths of galaxies, intertwining every particle of light and dust into a seamless, breathtaking whole. The air here was cool, pristine, and carried a subtle, sweet fragrance. Unlike any earthly scent, a clean, pure aroma of distant stars and cosmic purity. It felt like breathing pure light. The hum that had accompanied their ascent was now deeper, richer, a pervasive vibration that resonated through the entire astral sea, a silent, powerful song of creation that was both profound and utterly peaceful. Ariadne was not just witnessing this, she was a part of it, floating within its boundless, living beauty, utterly mesmerized by the infinite wonders of the Cosmic Loom. The vastness was not frightening, but inviting, a canvas of endless possibility and quiet majesty. Swirling light, then reappear, feeling refreshed and subtly tingling with energy. The entire experience was one of utter serenity, a silent journey through layers of pure, unadulterated beauty. Each cloud layer they passed through felt like shedding another layer of earthly perception, preparing her senses for the breathtaking reality that lay beyond. The softness of the clouds, their gentle yielding, was a profound reassurance that this journey was one of peace and wonder, a passage into something truly magnificent, carrying that unique, subtle, sweet fragrance that hinted at cosmic purity. This was the celestial veil, a shimmering curtain drawn between worlds, and they were passing through it with effortless grace. They felt incredibly delicate, like spun moonlight, or the finest, softest threads of ethereal cotton. As the vessel glided into them, the clouds seemed to part silently, offering no resistance, yielding gracefully to their passage. This was a living, breathing expanse, vibrant and alive, with an unimaginable tapestry of cosmic wonders. The sky above them was not a void, but a deep, fathomless ocean of color and light. Swirling currents of pure, luminous energy stretched infinitely in every direction, like vast, silent rivers of liquid starlight. These rivers glowed with every imaginable hue, deep royal blues that bled into vibrant purples, fiery oranges that danced with soft, glowing greens, and brilliant golds that shimmered like countless diamonds. These were the distant nebulae, the birthplaces of stars, not as pinpricks of light, but as colossal, living clouds of gas and dust, painted with the brushstrokes of creation itself. They were like enormous cosmic flowers, unfurling their petals of light in slow, silent motion across the vast expanse. They swirled around the vessel in soft, luminous currents, like gentle rivers of light. The air within the clouds was filled with a fine, silver dust that shimmered and sparkled, catching the pearlescent glow of the vessel and Lyra. It was like being enveloped in a gentle, warm fog of pure light. They swirled and billowed around the vessel, creating ever-changing patterns of light and shadow, yet everything remained soft, dreamlike, and profoundly peaceful. There was no sense of turbulence, no buffing wind, only a smooth, silent passage through these luminous veils. The feeling of the clouds against her skin was like the gentlest touch, a feather-soft caress that was both cooling and exquisitely comforting. It felt like touching a ball of the finest, softest thread she used in her weaving, but infinitely lighter, endlessly more delicate. The scent in the clouds was subtle and sweet, like freshly bloomed night flowers mixed with the clean scent of distant rain, but also with an ethereal fragrance she couldn't quite place, a hint of something vast and ancient. Instead, a quiet eagerness swelled within her, a profound sense of anticipation for what lay ahead. It was not an abandonment, but a natural progression, a peaceful letting go. Eldoria had been her cradle. A new chapter was unfolding, vast and unknown, inviting her forward. She felt a deep gratitude for the beauty and peace of her homeland, for the life it had given her, but also an unshakable readiness to embrace this new journey. The diminishing landscape below did not make her feel small or insignificant. On the contrary, it made her feel expansive, connected to a larger reality that was slowly revealing itself. The quiet eagerness within her was a vibrant, hopeful feeling, a gentle hum of excitement for the unknown wonders that awaited her. It was a liberation, a silent soaring into a boundless future, leaving behind the familiar with a heart full of quiet joy. Every subtle detail that faded into the distance seemed to lighten her spirit, shedding old layers, preparing her for something entirely new. She knew with an inner certainty that she was moving towards her true purpose, guided by the silent hand of destiny. But a small, delicate jewel, its inner lights gleaming like miniature fallen stars on the dark, vast tapestry of the land. It seemed impossibly small, a tiny point of human endeavor against the immense, silent expanse of Eldoria. The individual trees blurred into a seamless, textured surface, their towering forms reduced to mere patterns. Instead, they moved with a serene grace, their starlit forms shimmering as they adjusted. The swirling mists that usually clung to their summits now seemed like wisps of translucent silk, wrapping around the peaks in delicate, fleeting veils. The clear rivers, which had murmured their songs through the valleys, became faint, shimmering ribbons of light, winding their way across the green expanse, their paths tracing the ancient veins of the land. It was as if they received a silent command from Lyra, a quiet signal that flowed through the luminous tethers that connected them to the vessel. Their large, deep eyes remained calm, focused on an unseen point beyond the glade. As she lowered herself, the mist yielded to her form, perfectly molding itself to her body, supporting her completely. It felt like sinking into a bed of softest cloud, a sensation of ultimate comfort and relaxation. The luminous threads of the vessel seemed to fold around her, creating a secure and gentle cocoon of light. She was nestled perfectly, utterly at ease, ready for whatever lay ahead. Lyra sat beside her, his presence a quiet, steady warmth, a beacon of calm strength. Their hands remained gently joined, a silent testament to their connection, a shared peace in the heart of the glowing craft. The air inside the vessel was soft and sweet, a delicate fragrance that hinted at distant stars and newly formed worlds. She felt perfectly aligned, perfectly at home in this extraordinary, light-woven space. The celestial deer, standing patiently at the prow of the vessel, now began to stir. Then, with an elegant, unhurried grace, the vessel began to lift. There was no jolt, no sudden lurch, no sound of straining or effort. It simply rose. It detached from the mossy earth as if it were a feather caught on the gentlest of breezes. The lift was so smooth, so effortless, that Ariadne barely felt the moment of separation. It was an ascension that defied all earthly understanding of movement and gravity. The vessel seemed to float upwards, silent as a dream. The air around them did not rush or whistle. It simply parted, allowing them to glide upwards with an almost imperceptible flow. The hum that filled the glade now seemed to emanate from the vessel itself, a soft, deep vibration that resonated with their silent ascent, a harmonic note of pure, unburdened flight. The ancient cypress trees, which had towered over the hidden spring, slowly began to sink beneath them, their dark forms diminishing with each silent passing moment. The mist-shrouded peaks that had always stood as majestic guardians around Eldoria now appeared as gentle, undulating ridges, their forms softened by distance and the pearlescent glow that enveloped them. In the far distance, Ariadne could just discern the faint, tiny lights of the palace, Eldoria's royal seat. Ariadne watched her homeland shrink beneath her, feeling a gentle sense of farewell, but not a pang of sadness or regret. As the vessel continued to climb higher, leaving the land far below, they began to encounter the clouds. The sensation of passing through these clouds was one of profound beauty and ethereal softness. The colors within these cloud masses were soft and shifting, pale silver, translucent white, tinges of the softest rose and lavender, all blending seamlessly. Ariadne watched in silent wonder as the glowing masses enveloped them, then slowly began to thin, revealing glimpses of something far grander beyond. Then, with a gentle, imperceptible surge, the vessel broke through the final, thinnest layer of clouds. It was not the empty, cold blackness of the night sky she knew from Eldoria. Constellations, familiar and new, stretched infinitely across this cosmic ocean. This was not a static painting. It was a dynamic, ever-changing masterpiece. The entire astral sea felt like a single, grand, living tapestry, weaving through the cosmos as the luminous vessel glided through the boundless expanse of the astral sea. Ariadne's understanding of the universe began to shift, profoundly and beautifully. This cosmic tapestry was constantly being spun and unraveled, created and recreated by an unseen, magnificent hand. Ariadne perceived the flow of cosmic energy not as an abstract concept, but as a tangible reality, like shimmering currents moving through the vastness. This profound realization filled her with a sense of deep wonder and awe. Their silent journey through the astral sea was a continuous unfolding of cosmic wonders. They passed through a quiet, shimmering nebula. It was a vast cloud of cosmic gas and dust, but it was not chaotic or violent. Further on, they glided over a vast, silent field of ancient, iridescent cosmic dust. In the far distance, appearing as delicate, luminous flowers, were distant, swirling galaxies. They were impossibly vast, each one a universe unto itself, yet from their current vantage point, they appeared as intricate, glowing blossoms in the cosmic garden. Some were tight, bright spirals of light, their arms unfurling like petals. Others were soft, elliptical glows, like luminous pearls scattered across the black velvet of space. These were not audible in the traditional sense, but she perceived them as flowing currents of vibrant, pure energy, their patterns resembling sound waves, yet visibly beautiful. These were not made of trees and flowers, but of intricate crystalline structures that gleamed with an inner light, each facet holding a fragment of ancient universal truth. They were places of profound stillness, where knowledge was not written in books, but inherent in the very fabric of the realm, accessible through quiet contemplation, but a microcosm of the grand cosmic weaving taking place all around them. She realized that the dream was not just a flight of fancy, but a glimpse into this larger cosmic reality. They were not just distant cosmic phenomena, but felt like the finest silk she had ever touched, yet infinitely more delicate, more vibrant, more alive. She could almost feel the texture of the light against her awareness, the subtle vibration of its energy. It was like running her fingers over the warp threads of her own loom, feeling the tension, the quality, the promise of the finished work. The shimmering currents of starlight and nebulae that had greeted them on their first glimpse now seemed to grow even more vibrant, more profound, as if the universe itself was drawing them towards its very heart. Everything around them became perfectly, serenely poised. It was a place of absolute quiet, a profound hush that settled deep within Ariadne's bones, calming every fiber of her being. Each star was a perfect, brilliant jewel, glittering with its own unique light, some radiating soft blues, others fiery reds, many gleaming with a pure, diamond-like white. They were countless, impossible to number, yet each one felt distinct and precious, a part of the grand, living tapestry. His constellation-like eyes, vast and ancient, held a tenderness that flowed from him like warm, liquid starlight. There was no need for words, no sound exchanged between them. The communication was one of pure, shared understanding, a silent conversation between two souls woven from the same cosmic threads. Its surface shimmered with countless tiny points of brilliance, like powdered stardust caught in a ray of sunlight. His movements remained quiet and powerful, filled with an ancient grace. It was not a forceful throw, but a delicate, reverent release, as if he were planting a seed of starlight. The light diffused and then coalesced, forming new, distinct points of brilliance. Individual stars born from the golden essence of the thread. These stars were not harsh or overly bright, but glimmered with an unusual, soft, warm light, like gentle embers in a cosmic hearth. They were imbued with the unique energy of Ariadne's dreams, her artistry, and her love. The thread itself became the invisible lines connecting these newly formed stars, drawing them into a specific, elegant pattern. It was a shape that felt both ancient and utterly new, a design that resonated with the profound stillness and creative power of the astral sea. The pattern was subtle, not overtly complex, but beautifully balanced, a harmonious arrangement of luminous points. The golden thread, radiant and alive with Ariadne's essence, floated effortlessly from his hand. As it left his palm, it began to expand. Slowly, majestically, it unfurled. It stretched outwards, lengthening gracefully, like a living vine of light reaching across the dark canvas. The golden light, once concentrated in a single strand, now began to spread, its luminosity growing with each passing moment. There was no grand flourish, no sudden, dramatic gesture, but rather a seamless, flowing motion that spoke of immense, controlled energy. He shifted his gaze from the thread to a specific, clear part of the night sky above them. It was a stretch of the astral sea that, while still brilliant with distant stars and nebulae, held a unique sense of openness, a perfect, untouched canvas waiting for new artistry. It was not a void, but a vast, silent expanse of deep cosmic blue, like the deepest ocean, where scattered points of light shimmered like diamonds. This spot felt chosen, destined, a pristine space in the cosmic tapestry. It was incredibly fine, yet held a remarkable strength, a palpable presence. Though she did not physically touch it, Ariadne felt its energy, a warmth that resonated with her very soul, a gentle hum that echoed the silent song of creation. It vibrated with a soft, pure note, a distinct tone in the cosmic symphony. This was not just any thread. It was the golden thread from her dream now made real, shimmering with her very essence, waiting to be woven into the fabric of the night sky itself. It was the culmination of her journey, a luminous symbol of who she was and who she was becoming. Its glow filled the space between them, a silent, powerful testament to their shared love and the magic that had brought them together. It was the pure essence of her dreams, manifest as a single, shining strand. His expression conveyed a deep affection, a recognition of her journey, her spirit, and the profound connection they now shared. It was a gesture of love, deep and true, that radiated from his very being. The nebulae, those vast, swirling clouds of gas and dust, glowed with impossible colors, like immense celestial gardens where new stars were constantly being tended. His luminous fingers, composed of shimmering light, seemed to gather the very essence of the surrounding cosmos. From the center of his palm, a single, exquisite thread began to shimmer into existence. It was not a thread he pulled from a spool, nor one he found in the air. This thread seemed to materialize from the interplay of light and energy that was all around them, yet it felt uniquely connected to Ariadne. It pulsed with a soft inner glow, its color a radiant, deep gold, like condensed sunlight, yet with an ethereal quality that made it seem both solid and fluid at the same time. They unfurled in slow, majestic spirals, their forms shifting and changing with an eternal, silent rhythm, creating breathtaking patterns of light and shadow against the deep, luminous expanse. It held the quiet power of her dreams, those vivid, luminous journeys of her sleep, where she swam with starlight dolphins and wove tapestries of pure light. It carried the meticulous artistry of her hands, the skill and patience she poured into every piece of weaving, the way she could transform simple fibers into intricate, beautiful stories. Most profoundly, it held the pure, unwavering love she now felt for Lyra, a love that had bloomed instantly and grown into a boundless, luminous connection. And it also contained her intrinsic connection to the cosmos, her deep, innate understanding that the universe itself was a grand, unfolding weave. This golden thread was her spirit, her talent, her heart, made visible in a single, shimmering strand of cosmic energy. This was the heart of the universe, a place of profound creation and endless beauty, where every particle of light whispered tales of cosmic beginnings and infinite possibilities. The vibrant cosmic tapestry around them did not cease its magnificent dance, but here, at its zenith, it seemed to hold its breath, a moment of profound suspension, revealing its most exquisite beauty in perfect clarity. It was a space where infinite possibility seemed to bloom in every direction. Her spirit, which had always yearned for beauty and truth beyond the confines of her earthly palace, now expanded to embrace the boundless majesty around her. She felt herself becoming lighter, more ethereal, as if her own being was beginning to shimmer and pulse with the cosmic energies. The quiet hum that filled the zenith of the journey resonated within her, aligning her own energy with the universe's grand silent song. It was a moment of profound understanding, a deep recognition that everything was connected, that she was an integral part of this vast, living tapestry. All the dreams she had ever held, all the quiet longings of her soul, seemed to find their echo here, in this place where all things were possible, where creation itself was breathing around her. The air, crisp and pure, filled her with an invigorating sense of newness, a profound excitement that was still and calm, not rushed. She felt perfectly at ease, perfectly at home, suspended in the midst of infinite wonders, bathed in a light that felt like pure, unconditional love. Her heart swelled with a silent, profound joy, a sense of rightness that settled deep within her very core. There was no past here, no future, only an eternal, luminous present, a moment of perfect being. The swirling colors of nebulae, the vast, shimmering fields of cosmic dust, the distant, majestic galaxies, all held their form in a breathtaking tableau, each detail sharp and luminous, yet soft and inviting. The silent hum that had accompanied their journey deepened, becoming a rich, pervasive vibration that resonated not just in the air around them, but deep within Ariadne's own being. It was not harsh or blinding, but rather an intense, pure radiance that flowed from every direction, permeating the very fabric of existence. The light was composed of every imaginable color, yet it blended so seamlessly that it created a single, continuous, shimmering glow. It was a light that felt alive, pulsing with an inner energy that was both immensely powerful and exquisitely gentle. It warmed her skin with a tender caress, not with heat, but with a vibrant energy that seemed to awaken every cell in her body. This light was so pure, so all-encompassing, that it felt like breathing liquid starlight. It filled her mind, clearing away any last vestiges of earthly thought, leaving only a state of pure, unblemished awareness. It was the song of the cosmos, a melody of pure creation, a sound that needed no ears to be heard, only a receptive heart. The profound stillness of the astral sea, broken only by the deep, gentle hum, felt like the quiet focus she experienced when she was absorbed in her own weaving, a state of deep concentration, where the outside world faded away and only the rhythm of creation remained. Each individual star they passed, each shimmering cluster of cosmic dust, each vibrant nebula, they were all like single luminous threads. Her art was not small or insignificant. It was a reflection of the largest truth, a mirror of the universe's own endless artistry. She was a weaver, and the universe was the ultimate weaver, and in that understanding, she felt a deep sense of belonging, a profound recognition of her own place within the grand design. The golden thread, once just a dream, now felt like a tangible presence, waiting to be woven into the grandest tapestry of all, the very fabric of her own evolving destiny. The more she observed, the more she felt herself becoming one with the cosmic loom, her spirit expanding to encompass its boundless beauty and intricate patterns, spun from the very essence of the cosmos, being woven together by an unseen, magnificent hand into the grand tapestry of existence. Her loom in Eldoria, though made of oak and linen, was a small echo of the immense, boundless loom of the universe. The threads she used, spun from wool and plants, were miniature versions of the vast, luminous currents of starlight and nebulae that flowed around them now. Her patterns, though intricate and beautiful, were humble reflections of the infinite, shifting designs of galaxies and constellations. These were not places they journeyed to directly, but appeared as fleeting glimpses, shimmering on the edge of her perception, adding to the immense vastness and profound mystery of the universe. They hinted at realms beyond realms, layers of existence that stretched into unimaginable depths, making the universe feel not just large, but infinitely rich and endlessly unfolding. Each glimpse was a whisper of a deeper truth, a promise of wonders that awaited exploration far beyond their current path, inviting her spirit to grasp the boundless nature of existence. It was a silent testament to the infinite possibilities that lay within the cosmic loom, a vastness that was not empty but brimming with life, thought, and beauty. They pulsed with gentle, rhythmic vibrations, emanating a silent, profound melody that seemed to resonate with the very hum of the universe. The memory of that dream, of effortless creation with threads of light, began to resonate powerfully within her. She sensed Lyra's gentle presence beside her, a steady warmth and a quiet strength. He did not speak, but she felt his silent guidance, a subtle nudge to her thoughts, helping her to draw the connection, to see the deeper truth. It was as if music itself had taken on a tangible form, flowing through the cosmos in luminous streams. Each one was a symphony of countless stars, all moving in a slow, majestic dance, a silent ballet of cosmic bodies. They seemed to twinkle with a gentle inner light, their colors ranging from brilliant white to soft gold, from deep blue to fiery red, depending on the age and type of stars within them. Ariadne felt a profound sense of connection to these distant wonders, recognizing the same beautiful patterns of creation that she saw in her own weaving, scaled to an unimaginable grandeur. They were like dreams made real, shimmering on the horizon of infinite possibility. At times, the vessel would pass through what felt like a delicate, flowing stream of pure energy. Lyra, with a silent gesture, allowed her to perceive this as dream stuff or thought currents. These were not visible in the same way as stars or nebulae, but she felt them as subtle vibrations, like gentle, cool currents flowing through the cosmic air. They seemed to emanate from living worlds far below, tiny planets hidden somewhere in the vastness, carrying the collective thoughts, dreams, and feelings of the beings that lived upon them. She sensed fleeting impressions, a flash of laughter, a wave of peaceful sleep, a burst of creative inspiration, all woven into these subtle currents. It was a profound reminder that the universe was not just physical, but alive with consciousness, a vast web of interconnected minds and spirits. The sensation was gentle, like a whisper in her soul, a silent echo of distant lives. As they glided through these various cosmic wonders, Ariadne also caught fleeting glimpses of even more ethereal, subtle realms, shimmering on the distant horizon of the astral sea. These were not physical places in the way she understood them, but realms of pure essence, glimpsed as shimmering possibilities. She saw what appeared to be islands of pure thought, floating silently in the cosmic expanse, their forms shimmering and changing with unseen currents of pure consciousness. They were not solid, but seemed to be composed of countless intertwining ideas, glowing with a soft internal light that varied with the complexity of the thoughts contained within them. She also caught sight of what looked like rivers of harmonic sound, and further still, in the deepest, most serene reaches of the distant cosmic landscape, she saw silent gardens of cosmic wisdom. As the luminous vessel continued its silent, graceful flight through the boundless astral sea, Ariadne felt a deep, profound connection to her earlier dream, the one about spinning a single golden thread to create a splendid, shining tapestry. She began to understand that her earthly craft of weaving, which she cherished so deeply, was not just a skill. The golden thread of her dream, which she had thought impossible to make a tapestry from, now felt profoundly real, a symbol of pure, concentrated creation. The threads of light they passed through, the swirling currents of starlight and nebulae, now felt strangely, wonderfully familiar. Ariadne felt a profound sense of continuity, a timeless connection between her quiet, earthly craft and the majestic, cosmic act of creation happening around her. The constellation of the Dreamweaver, the luminous vessel, continued its graceful ascent, slowly, effortlessly, carrying Ariadne and Lyra deeper into the vast living expanse of the astral sea. They reached a point of ultimate stillness. Here, in this boundless realm, there was no sense of movement, no discernible currents, no subtle shifts in light or shadow. The profound brilliance of this place was unlike any light she had ever encountered. The cosmic canvas stretched endlessly before them, a boundless expanse of untold stars and nebulae. For Ariadne, this place of ultimate stillness and profound brilliance was not overwhelming, but deeply liberating. Lyra, the guardian of the Cosmic Loom, now turned his gaze fully upon Ariadne. With a slow, graceful movement, Lyra gently raised his hand. As it formed, Ariadne sensed that this thread was not merely light. It embodied everything that made her unique, everything that defined her essence. The thread seemed to breathe, subtly expanding and contracting, a miniature living entity of pure light. Lyra, still holding the exquisitely luminous golden thread in his open palm, now performed an act of profound creation. With a gentle, almost imperceptible release, Lyra cast the single luminous thread into this clear expanse. As the thread expanded, it subtly took shape. Slowly, carefully, the constellation solidified into its final form. It was a truly unique and beautiful new constellation, distinct from any other in the vast heavens. Its stars glimmered with an unusual, soft, warm light, a gentle radiance that seemed to hum with a profound peace. This light was distinct from the colder, sharper brilliance of other constellations. It was a silent witness to their journey, a luminous monument to the transformation Ariadne had undergone. Ariadne felt a profound wave of peace wash over her, even in the most secluded parts of the Whispering Woods, soothing her even further. And protected by Lyra's loving presence, Ariadne felt herself being drawn into an even deeper, most enchanted sleep. Far from the bustling lights of cities, where the veil between worlds is thin, her constellation gleams eternally, can take tangible form in the grand expanse of the universe. It is a testament to the transformative journey, the quiet courage it takes to embrace the unknown, and the profound peace found in aligning oneself with the larger cosmic rhythm. Most importantly, it is a shimmering emblem of enduring love, the kind of love that transcends boundaries, that connects souls across vast distances, weaving to separate lives into a single, luminous destiny. It is known as Ariadne's Loom of Light, or sometimes, more intimately, as the Weaver's Crown. It invites you to gaze upon its soft, calming, luminous presence, and to remember the quiet power of your own dreams. It encourages you to embrace the stillness within, to feel the deep peace that resonates from the universe itself. As its gentle light washes over you, imagine yourself drifting into a state of profound relaxation, letting go of all the small worries, allowing your mind to become as vast and as peaceful as the cosmic sea. Knowing that you too are a part of this grand living tapestry, forever connected to the weaving magic of the stars. Under its serene, constant glow, may you find your own deepest peace and drift into a long, quiet, and truly enchanted sleep, carried by the gentle light of a dream made real. It is a quiet, luminous presence, a permanent fixture in the vast cosmic tapestry, always visible to those who seek it with a calm heart and open eyes. It was a sleep unlike any she had known, a sleep that was not merely rest, but a continuation of her cosmic journey. Her dreams now merged seamlessly with the starlit reality around her. She no longer dreamed of stars, she dreamed among them. She was fully conscious in her dreams and fully dreaming in her conscious state, all interwoven into a single, blissful experience. The light from her own constellation, Ariadne's Loom of Light, seemed to bathe her in its gentle golden glow, infusing her slumber with its pure, creative energy. She drifted deeper and deeper, her breath soft and even, her spirit soaring through the boundless, dreamlike expanse of the astral sea, forever weaving. The silent flight, the imperceptible glide through the vastness, added to this profound sense of tranquility. There was no jarring motion, no sudden shifts, only an endless, smooth drift through the starlit expanse, and Lyra's reassuring presence, constant and strong beside her, was the most potent balm. The immense experience of the journey, the breathtaking vistas of the astral sea, and the silent, powerful act of creation they had just witnessed, all settled within her, leaving no room for anything but perfect peace. Every part of her being resonated with the beauty and stillness of the cosmos. Its soft, golden light seemed to bathe them both, wrapping them in a silent, profound blessing. It was Ariadne's signature, etched forever in the sky, a beautiful, eternal mark of her journey from the quiet woods of Eldoria to the boundless loom of the cosmos. The light it cast was warm and inviting, a gentle presence that filled the vastness with a profound sense of peace and belonging, echoing the soft glow of her own spirit. It was the very heart of her dreams, shining forever bright. It had a comforting, inviting glow, like the steady flame of a hearth on a quiet night. It was an everlasting symbol, suspended eternally in the vast cosmic tapestry, a testament to the powerful, transformative love between Ariadne and Lyra. His shoulder, though composed of starlight, felt surprisingly solid, warm, and utterly comforting. The soft, gentle glow that emanated from his form wrapped around her like a protective shield, a cocoon of pure, unconditional love. The sense of protection was absolute, as if nothing could ever touch her in this sacred space by his side. It spoke of their instant, inexplicable connection, a love that transcended earthly boundaries and soared into the celestial realms. Lyra, with a quiet, loving gaze at Ariadne, silently named it, not aloud, but in her heart she heard it, Ariadne's loom of light. Its central structure resembled the sturdy frame of a weaver's loom, its main stars forming the uprights and the crossbeams. Within this frame, smaller, more delicate stars shimmered in intricate patterns, representing the warp and weft threads, forever suspended in a moment of endless weaving. The concentrated essence of Ariadne herself, forever linked to the boundless creative energy of the universe. The subtle beauty of Ariadne's loom of light was breathtaking, but its meaning stretched even further. Ariadne's loom of light was also a symbol of eternal creation. This constellation represented the continuous, silent act of the universe creating itself, weaving new stars, new galaxies, new possibilities into existence, endlessly. It was a reminder that creation was not a singular event, but a constant, ongoing process, beautiful in its perpetual unfolding. It also embodied the magic of dreams made real. Her deepest desires, once confined to her sleep, had now taken tangible form in the heavens, a proof that dreams held a potent, creative power, capable of manifesting reality. The constellation was a beacon for all who dared to dream, a silent promise that even the most ethereal visions could find their place among the stars. The constellation pulsated with a gentle, rhythmic glow, a slow, steady breath of light that resonated with the quiet hum of the astral sea, overwhelmed by the profound beauty of what had just transpired, by the sheer wonder of seeing her essence woven into the fabric of the heavens, and filled with a deep, unwavering contentment. With a sigh of pure, blissful surrender, Ariadne rested her head against Lyra's shoulder. The gentle hum of the cosmos, which had accompanied their entire journey, now deepened and softened, becoming a powerful yet gentle lullaby. Wrapped in the soft glow of the newly formed constellation, cradled by the gentle hum of the universe. If you look up at the night sky today, on a clear, dark night, you can still see a sign of Ariadne's journey, a silent, beautiful testament to her ascent into the cosmos. This constellation stands as a beautiful, everlasting symbol of wonder, a beacon that whispers of the infinite possibilities that lie beyond the known world. Ariadne's loom of light hangs silently in the heavens, a constant, gentle invitation. It invites you to gaze upon its soft, calming, luminous presence and to remember the quiet power of your own dreams. It encourages you to embrace the stillness within, to feel the deep peace that resonates from the universe itself. As its gentle light washes over you, imagine yourself drifting into a state of profound relaxation, letting go of all the small worries, allowing your mind to become as vast and as peaceful as the cosmic sea. Let its silent beauty guide you deeper into quiet rest, into a sleep that is enchanted and restorative, a sleep where your own dreams can merge with the infinite wonders of the night. Knowing that you too are a part of this grand, living tapestry, forever connected to the weaving magic of the stars. Under its serene, constant glow, may you find your own deepest peace and drift into a long, quiet, and truly enchanted sleep, carried by the gentle light of a dream made real.